yet, you can draw those 2-inch by 2-inch squares. As we go, we'll have some time pausing, but we should have 6 of them on our paper. And what we're going to do is start with our 4H pencil. And so I'm going to write 4H. What I want you to do is take it, and I want you to hold your pencil like you're pinching it, like you pinched it, like it's St. Patrick's Day, and your pencil's not wearing green, so you pinch it. And then what I want you to do is then take your other 3 fingers and wrap them around it to support your pencil. And then we're going to take your pencil right here and then touch it on the side of the paper of the side of the pencil. So your pencil will be laying on the paper like so. Does everybody see that? Heads nodding. Yes. Okay. Now what we're going to do is lightly shade on the top right corner, and we're going to make it darker by adding more pressure towards the bottom, okay? So we're just gonna lightly shade. And as you're shading, what I want you to do as you're shading is stop, lift up your pencil, rotate it just a little bit, and then put it down and shade. And then lift it up, rotate it, and shade. And this will help keep your pencil sharp as we go. And so just keep lifting it up and rotating it. And as you get sort of to this middle line, start pressing a little bit harder with your 4H pencil, okay? And we're trying to get these kind of even. And if you see, I don't know if you can see, do you see how streaky mine is? It's because I'm just going back and forth like this. If you do not want your work to look like a kindergarten's work, do not do this. What I want you to do instead is circles, little circles. This is the professional way of shading, is little circles. If you go back and forth like this, it makes it look really streaky and it becomes very childish. But if we do little circles like this, this is what's going to make it smooth. When you see those realistic or hyper-realistic drawings of people, this is the technique that those people are using. Now, as we're getting closer to this bottom left corner, we're going to press a little bit harder, okay? And so this is going to give us a range here of our 4H pencil. But you can see, even if we press really hard with these little circles, the 4H pencil isn't going to get absolutely black. It's not going to get there. It just won't. Like the 4H pencil is meant to be a light pencil. And so we're just going to do these little circles, and we can pick it up, rotate them, and you're going to get a nice, even sort of blend there. And this will make your art stand out. People will see it and they'll be like, ooh, who is that person? What kind of skills do they have? How did they get it so smooth? And you'll be like, oh, little circles. Anybody know Pharrell Williams from the song Happy? Anybody? Yeah. He has some of the most beautiful skin in the world. Have you seen him? Have you? I'll pull you. How old do you think he is without Googling? Without Googling, how old do you think this person is? 20? 45? 15? 35? 38? Anybody else? Anybody else? Around his 30s? Well, his true age is 47 years old. And this year, because of quarantine, he did a whole thing where he's talking about how he made his skin look super youthful and nice and clean. And what he says, I don't know if you'll understand what I'm saying, but what he says is that And I gotta switch my camera, hold on. So what he says he does for his face and his skin is he washes his face with small little circles. So he washes it and he has soap or special face wash. And what he does is small little circles, and he starts at his chin and he goes towards his forehead. And he just spends like 5-10 minutes doing small little circles washing his face, and he says it helps blood get to his face and it makes his skin look super neat and clean and soft. And so maybe that is something you want to do, but it is definitely the trick for when you are blending small little circles, y'all. And so if it's good enough for Pharrell and every artist ever who's amazing, it's good enough for you. So we have this little square right here. And what we're going to do, how many of you have Q-tips? Everybody have a Q-tip? Everybody else able to find one? Nobody's missing one? Okay. So what I want to show you is we have these type of things in our classroom. They're called blending sticks, and they're for blending, and they're good, and they cost a lot of money. And what they are is just newspaper. Have anybody ever seen newspaper? This is what that is. It's just really soft paper, and it's really good for blending. But I think these are kind of a ripoff because yes, they're good, but this is even better. And so what we can do is take our little Q-tip and just do little circles, and we can blend it and make it even smoother just by using little circles. And so if you go into an artist studio, you might see a lot of Q-tips here in a place, and just know that it's usually, especially if they're drawing, it is for blending. And so just these little circles is the trick to getting something nice and smooth. Especially if you don't have like graphite powder and you're using this. These will get you like really soft skin tones. These will give you like nice transitions for like water drawings or waterfalls. And it's not as back and forth, it's just little circles, little circles. And you can get them really, really tight. And when you blend, you always want to blend from your lightest to your darkest. You never want to go dark to light because your Q-tip's going to get dirty. And if you're trying to, you'll just end up dragging it into your light. So you always want to do your light sections first, and then you want to go to your dark areas. And if you do have, let's say you do have you need to go back, you need to find the other end and then go back and work on that area to make a nice soft blend. Little circles. That's all we're doing. I think we're gonna play some music while we are. Actually, I don't think I can with this camera setup because it's just little circles, just blending them in. So this is like, and I want to show you with a 4H pencil, because a 4H pencil, like you would think like, oh, it could get really dark, but this is like the value range right here of a 4H pencil. It's nothing like super special. You can get some darker areas, but like you're gonna get pretty soft tones. Now what I want to do is, let's do something a little bit different. I'm gonna grab my, let's go H pencil. So grab your H pencil. Let's go with a 2B pencil, and then we'll go with, actually, let's just go with an H and a 2B, okay? So we're gonna start with our lighter H, and then we're gonna do half of this. So I'll just draw a light line, half. So we'll do H here, and then we'll do 2B over here, okay? And then we'll just grab our pencil again by pinching, wrapping our fingers around, using the edge, and then start lightly on that top left corner. Little circles, little circles. We'll just fill in that half. And I'm keeping it kind of light, not pressing really hard in this top corner. And as I get closer to that midline, I'll press a little bit harder, just a tiny bit. And let the pencil do pretty much everything. my hand is just lightly grabbing the pencil. And so I'm not squeezing the pencil at all. My hand does not hurt. And then once I have my H filled in with little circles, I'll take my 2B and then I'll do the same thing later at that edge. And if you need to, flip your pencil, rotate it so that it keeps it sharp. This will allow you from having to stop and sharpen your pencil often. And when you notice, like this one, I don't know if you can see, starting to get a flat edge on one side, and then it's building up more. So like this side, there's a lot of lead left, but this side, there's some wood there. So I just need to rotate my pencil to that side and start blending. It'll help. I'll just wear down, keep my pencil sharp. And as that's going, you can see it's starting to wear down that wood on that side and making it sharp on that side. Once that side starts getting flat, I'll rotate it again to the next side and add little circles. And we should have, if you need to, you can go back. We should have a clear delineage, so darker and a lighter side. You sort of see that, right? All right. On the other end of my Q-tip, I have this dirty side, so I won't be using it anymore. I'll flip it over. And what I'll do from the top left or right, I'm just going to make small circles yet again and blend it smooth. We're just going to see how an H pencil responds to our blending. And you can sort of see it's already becoming a little bit more smooth than this texture. And like, I didn't fill in every single grain on this paper, but by blending it, I am filling in those areas with these tiny little circles. And ooh, that is nice. I'm liking it. This would be great for a cloud. Then as I get to this 2B, I'll keep blending. And I want to cross the line and make a little bit bigger circles so it starts blending both of these together. And now we sort of have a graduated transition from a lighter tone to a darker tone. And we have a dirty Q-tip on both sides. Now, with your dirty Q-tips, what you can do, watch this, is you can draw with it. So if you want to, and you have some areas in your drawing, you can always just fill it in and use it to blend in things, or you can draw with that, that wonderful little value there. So it's not just like you need to throw it away immediately, but you have tone on there. And let's say you're drawing someplace and you're like, oh, I don't want it to be so dark as a pencil. Your other option is that you have this with graphite on it, and you can just put that shading in without having it be a pencil, and you get a really soft tone. So like if you were drawing someone's eye, you might use this, because the eyes are usually brighter, because eyes are sort of at the front of our face. The nose definitely would be a softer tone because it's catching more light. And so we use something like this in those situations so they don't get too dark. All right. I think what we can do now, everyone caught up on that? You have these two? Feel like I'm not going too fast? Okay, good. The next thing I want to show you is, let's get 3 pencils. And you need a light pencil, you need a medium pencil, and a dark pencil. And you can choose any 3. I'm gonna pick a 2H, I'm gonna pick a B, and a 6B. So those are the ones I'm choosing, but you know your pencil set now. You can pick which ones you like. So what we're gonna do now, instead of going diagonal, we're just going to split this into thirds, this one. And so I'll have a third here and a third here. And this will be, and they don't have to be perfect thirds. As you can see, this one's a little bit bigger, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to say this is going to be 2H. This is going to be my B. And this is going to be my 6B. And then just fill it in with graphite, the way we've been doing it. So this 2H, I'll fill this in with little circles. And I'll keep rotating my pencil as I go. And this, I want these all to be the same pressure, okay? All the same pressure. And you'd want it all to be the same pressure. Y'all having a good day. It's a good day to be inside. It's not hot. It's not too cold. All right, so there's my 2H. So I'll put my 2H pencil back, grab my B. I'll put my B in. Remember, I'm just lightly holding, same pressure as I did the 2H. Before we blend it, I want to talk about the next tool, because we're not going to use Q-tips on this one. So don't jump into Q-tips. Same pressure. B is done for me. And then I will grab my 6B and I'll put my 6B. And maybe the 6B is the best one to show this. You can see this side is sort of sharp. It's got a big area. This side over here, not so much. So I'll use that side to shade with, and it should sharpen it as we work. I can rotate it if I like, just a little bit. All right, we have 3 tones there. They're all a little bit darker because I chose darker ones. So let's say you are drawing on a train to France and you don't have one of these. And you don't have one of these because you're going to get to Q-tips in France. Well, here is what you can do for blending. If you don't have any of those, you can just grab a paper towel, or sorry, tissue paper, like Kleenex, or some toilet paper. Toilet paper usually has like a pattern on it and a texture, so you don't get things as smooth. But if you are in a pinch and you want to blend, toilet paper is just fine. Tissue is a little bit softer. It's a little bit less patterned. It's a pretty good one for it. And so what you'd want to do is grab your tissue paper, and then we're going to use all of it. Try to use all of it. And so we're just going to use a corner, okay? So I'll just grab a corner, put my finger in it, like so. Fingers inside of it. And then I'm just going to rub and make small circles. And this is also a great trick for doing large areas. So let's say you have like a side of a face or a shoulder or a leg, or you need some tone in the background. That is what you're going to use to get that. And remember, we're always going from light to dark. So whatever is your lightest tone to the darkest tone. And it will blend out nice and smooth. Now, in the past, we've used our finger, but your finger has oil in it. And when you rub it, and you have to rub harder and harder because you're getting all this in your finger. And you'd have to go clean and wash your face or your hand again. Whereas with a tissue paper, you can just grab the next clean section like this. It's like, here's one. I can just put my finger in the one next to it, and I can blend again. So if I want to blend even more, I can with small circles, or even larger circles. I'm like, look at that, 2. I blended twice. I have all of this tissue paper still for blending. So if you can keep it organized and neat, you're going to get a lot of opportunities and a lot of work out of one tissue paper. So you don't always have to like grab more and more and more and waste supplies. You can keep using it, just have to keep it organized. Just keep it organized. All right. And that gives you a nice blending as well. You can also use toilet paper. Same way with toilet paper. Just put your finger in there and blend. So whether it's tissue paper, like a Kleenex, or toilet paper, it'll do what you want it to, and you'll get blending. And just want to keep it organized so you have as much opportunity to use it over and over. A trick that I like to do is take a Kleenex and I just fold it, and I usually just put it in my sketchbook somewhere. And so I have one just in case. And it's always like a nice little trick. And if you sneeze and you've got snot running down your face, you can just go into your sketchbook, wipe your nose, throw it away, and get a new Kleenex at some point. All right. What I want to show you is with, let's go a 2H pencil, okay, for this box. 2H. And let's fill it in the whole box with value, okay? So pinch your pencil, curl your fingers, and then use the side of it. And you're going to fill it all in with one tone, okay? And if you're right-handed, you might want to start on the left and work your way to the bottom right, just so you're not dragging your hand in it. If you're left-handed, you might want to start at the left and work, from the right and work to your left. Always helps to make sure you're not dragging your hand or your fingers in any of your graphite. So sometimes pre-planning things really help. This is always fun, like when you're drawing and you're listening to music and you're shading, at least for me, it gets pretty fun because you're just listening to music and you can just sort of zone out and fill in all of this tone. Remember to rotate your pencil so you can keep it sharp. You don't have to sharpen it often. This also helps you get a lot more pencil out of it, because every time you sharpen your pencil, you're making your pencil shorter, when really we just need the lead. We don't necessarily need the pencil shorter. We just need the lead exposed. And so the more of this we can do, the longer you'll preserve your pencils. And I know some of you, especially with your own pencil packs, want to preserve them as long as possible. All right, so once you have one pass done, let me know. Do you have that? So what we're going to do again with our 2H pencil, let me rotate it, 2H pencil, what we're going to do is pinch our pencil, roll our fingers over, and we are going to add more value to it. And we're just going to fill in the whole box yet again, okay? And I think this technique works best for like Nick S and his situation, where he only has one pencil. And we're using the same pressure. We're not pressing any harder. We're just using the same pressure. And if you need to, or when you're ready, rotate your pencil so you can keep it sharp. There we go. So yesterday, as a teacher, it's like going back to school on the first day. A lot of mixed emotions, some fear, some anxiety, excitement to see my friends again. Just fill in this box. Whew. If you ever want to draw like fur on a dog, this is a great technique. Look at that. You should have like tight little curls. This is a great way to give texture to like a drawing. It's like if you had like a short-haired dog, like a wiry one, great technique for that. You would just leave it as it is. All right, once you have that whole box filled in again, how many of you have that? Awesome. Love seeing those thumbs up. Let's do this again. This time we're pausing each time is we're letting the graphite settle. And then we're allowing to see what white spots we still have. And by letting it just have a couple seconds to settle, it'll allow us to go back in. And when we make these small little circles, the graphite that we're adding are going to fall into those nooks and crannies and help make it be darker. Okay. And so just giving your drawing a second or two to let it settle, because what we're doing is scraping off graphite and making it into a powder. And that powder is going into the tooth, or like if you've looked at your t-shirt, anybody, y'all wearing t-shirts, and if you look at it really close, there's like little pockets of space in between it. Like you can see those dark areas in my t-shirt right here. You see those? That is what like a piece of paper is. And what we're doing is filling in those little holes of the paper with our graphite as we scrape it off. You can buy graphite powder and it goes onto your drawings really well, but it's really messy and it's hard to transport. And that's why most people use drawing pencils instead of graphite powder. Now, if you had a studio or you were like a professional artist or you had a space where you could control it, then I would definitely say graphite powder is worth the investment. But if you're traveling, if you don't like cleaning up messes, like the graphite powder will, like the slightest bit of wind will blow and go all over your clothing. This is one way of controlling it by putting it in a pencil form. And so when you're shading and you want to build up layers, just give it a second and you'll get it darker and darker and darker with every pass with some time between it. And so on mine, I'm seeing like I have some white areas here and right in here. So what I'll do is just go back in, and I don't have to do the whole thing. I can go into little areas and try to make it a little bit smoother and all of one tone. I'm just doing little circles. Kind of looks like a sponge, like the top of a sponge, like the scrubbiest part. So you could use that if you wanted to make a sponge. Like if I want to turn this into a realistic sponge, it would not be hard. Be like, okay, let's turn this into a sponge. I just put this texture on the side. And I could do this texture on this side. You don't have to do this, but if we wanted to make something look more spongy, that's a great way to make something look like it has that rough part on the top. Boom, spongy. All right, once you have that, what you can do, if you want to, if you don't want the texture and you want it nice and smooth, you can grab a tissue paper or you can grab a Q-tip, and I'll just use the tissue paper on this one. Just blend it. And you should get a nice darker, even tone. And anytime you're blending, let's say like we blend this out and it becomes nice and smooth, but it's not dark enough. Like you're like, it's okay, but I want it to be in that tone, but I want it to be darker. So I still want it to be a 2H pencil value, but I want it to be darker. You blend it out and then you grab your 2H pencil again, and then you go back on top of it and you do the little circles and it'll punch up the cut tone. You can see that's already starting to stand out. It'll punch up that tone. And you can do this as many times as you like to really get the value that you want. So you can blend it down and fill in all the areas, make it smooth, and then you can go back on top of it with your pencil and using your tiny little circles. The smaller circles, the better, because it gives you more opportunity to fill in things smoother. The bigger the circles, the harder it is to fill in everything small. So you just go back in and punch everything up, and it'll become a little bit brighter as a darkness. It will be less gray and a little bit more black, and you'll have a little bit smoother tone to your drawing. All right, this is the last one we're going to do with the pencils, and then we'll jump into color pencils. So finish this up as you like. And hopefully the color pencil stuff will be good for you as well. And hopefully it'll make your science drawings. Anytime you're using color pencils in math, it'll just make your work look so much better than your other classmates who haven't taken art, because you know these little tricks. Just check the time. Oh, we're doing great. We're doing fantastic. Thank you all for keeping up with me. I really appreciate it. I'm learning this skill. The reason why we're learning this is because in a couple of weeks, we're going to have the opportunity to participate in a project for the city of Wilsonville. And all of your work will be on display in the city. And we're going to be using our pencil sets for that. It's going to be a pretty big project, and I'm really excited about it. We're going to be working on this project with high school students. So they will be. We were supposed to do it last year, but COVID happened and we couldn't do it. And so because of it, we talked about it and tried to figure it out, and we figured it out a little bit better. So then we can use it and do it together. All right, let's put our pencils back in the pack. And then what you will need is an eraser, probably your white vinyl eraser. So if you can get that and your color pencils, and we should be good. All right, pick a color. A color. Does not matter what color, just pick a color. Your favorite color, your worst favorite color, the color you do not like, but pick a color. I'm gonna pick one of our school colors for mine. And so I got my orange. And what I'm gonna do, the same, pinch it, fold my fingers over, and little circles to fill this in. Little circles. No, I'm not pressing hard. I'm not pressing hard at all. I'm still doing the same pressure as like I was doing with my 4H pencil. Just the same pressure. My hand is nice and loose, nice and loose. I'm not like putting any strain on my muscles. I'd like you to do the same thing. I would like you to do the same thing. And you can sort of see that it's already kind of smoother than what we would normally do if we were like doing this, right? It's a little bit smoother. And if you've seen anybody like on YouTube doing professional like color pencil work, this is a fantastic little trick to make your color pencil work really stand out. Yes, it does take a little bit longer, but the quality that comes out of it is amazing. And you can rotate your color pencils too, and it'll sharpen it just like our other pencils.
Do we Q-tip this one too?
Oh, you're not going to Q-tip. Just wait. Once you fill it in, just pause and wait for me to catch up to you. Your head. We're just trying to get a nice, even, smooth box filled in with color. Just little circles. I showed this trick to Amanda, and she was like, what? How have I never, ever known this about colored pencils? And then she showed that trick to her other teacher friends, and they were like, how? How do I not know this? And I was like, probably because you didn't go to art school. So I want to show you. Grab your eraser, right? What we're going to do is just erase. So colored pencils can be erased, not completely, but it can be erased quite a bit. And you can get some really soft tones by erasing it. So if you're working in a skin tone value with colored pencils and you want to like get it lighter, because a colored pencil doesn't have a range of like different oranges. There's no 2H orange. There's no 4H orange. What you can do is use that eraser, and you can erase it, and you can get a really soft color. You can knock it down. You can take it down a level of intensity. And then with that, if you want to, you can go in with another color. You can just take like a blue or something like that. And I can fill it in as well. And I can blend it and shift the color or mix it and get a different color. So orange and blue are complementary colors. And when I blend them, I'll get more of a neutral color, like a brown or something closer to it. And so you can put it in there. And if you want to, you can knock that color back too with your eraser. And you can create these little layers of color. And it will get your drawings so much more interesting because there's different layers to it. Now, if you want to, you can also fill it in as well with these little circles. So you can make some cool things with it, and just know that your eraser will take off some colored pencil, not all. It's not going to make it like a white piece of paper again. And then if you do that with your color pencil and you use your eraser, make sure to clean your eraser after you're done, because you might want to use this on a black and white drawing, but then when you erase, you might have some color come off. So just be aware of that, okay? All right, I'm gonna take, let's see, two colors that are close to each other for this one. So I have a red, and since I was using the orange, I will use the orange. If we look in our, what is it, our notes, always referring to our notes. If we go to page 8, if we look at colors on the color wheel, red and orange are next to each other. And so they work well together because they're very close. And so I'll just use these two together. What I want to do is start with the less intense tone. And so in my mind, that would be my orange. And so what I'll do is, here's different. We're going to hold it different now. We're going to hold it like we're writing. What I'm going to do is hatch. So I'll make some lines, okay? You can make them up and down, or you can make them side to side. I'm going to go side to side because that's easier for my hand. I'll just hatch these in, okay? And so with color pencils, these are some of the best ways to blend. You can blend it with the eraser or small circles. And we'll go back, we'll do that with small circles as well. So just hatch these in. And it looks kind of streaky, right? Because I'm hatching. They're just lines. I'm just trying to fill in as much of that white as I can. Not all of it. And then what I'll do is with my red pencil, I will go in and hatch next to it. And so with color pencils, you don't always have to have every single color. You don't need a pack of color of 500 different colors. What you can use is just the basic colors and then hatch or cross hatch with them, and you'll get different colors and you'll get different tones. And there's some color pencils out there like the Prisma. Anybody have color Prisma pencils? Those are really nice and expensive color pencils because they have less wax in them. And so they're easier to blend. So with those Prisma colors, you could even take a Q-tip like this and really blend them out with little circles. We're gonna blend ours with the Q-tip right now with little circles. And we're gonna mix these two colors with the blending. And you'll get like a texture because of the lines there. So like if I was to do someone's t-shirt, I might put these lines in there and keep them in there and then blend on top of it so the t-shirt has some texture. And you can blend color pencils as well. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. If you blend like over here with this, with the circular, it's going to be smoother. And because we erased, there's not much there. We'll go back, but just fill it in. As you can see with mine, I started blending over the line and some of my pencil came into my drawing. And so that's going to make it a darker tone. Just blend it. So if you want texture in yours, you can think about hatching or cross hatching, and then you can blend on top of it, or you can just leave it cross hatching. Like this would be great for wood grain. You see that, how it sort of feels like there's like grain in there? Could be good for a tabletop. All right. So let's go back over to this other square. I'm gonna grab my orange. I'm just gonna put more value down of this orange in small circles. Maybe I'll just do like a little corner here. So you've all been amazing, keeping up with me. Appreciate it. Doing this work. So just do this little area over here so we can see what it looks like when it's erased. But I'll grab the other side of this and just blend it out. We'll see what small circles do. And this is just one pass of small circles, right? And if I'm not happy with it and it feels like it's too textury still, what I can do is go back in with my pencil and make more small circles, and try to blend it or make it smoother. So the key to getting nice, smooth, flat is even pressure and multiple passes and building up that color, building it up. And you'll get something a little bit more smoother. And you can go in and you can blend it again if you like. And remember, every time you blend it, it's going to take some of the impact or the brightness, and it's going to knock it backwards a little bit and make it a little bit duller. And if that's what you want, that's perfect. But if you want it to be a little bit brighter, make sure to go back on top of it and add some more circles. It'll also help smooth things out a little bit. It'll really brighten it as well as smooth it. And if you do want to, and you're like, I still want it to be a little bit smoother, just grab something and lightly try to knock it back down. And you can play around with different blending techniques. Now, if you have something like this where the lines are like I scribbled this all in, Mr. Matthews. I need to get this work done immediately. Let me show you some tricks. Again, take your Q-tip and do small circles. You'll make it less streaky. It's not going to stop it from being streaky, but it will make it a little bit smoother, okay? And so if you do end up scribbling or really quickly filling something in, like you're like, I'm working on a storyboard, you can just smooth it out a little bit. Does that make sense, y'all?